So hi guys, welcome to Ustream. If you want to speak, you have to call me through Skype, which is Lisa Cairns 12. So you have to friend me on Skype and call in. I'll only take spoken questions. There really isn't an objective reality. There isn't something which is fixed in which all of us are seeing. In every instant there's chemical reactions happening, and those chemical reactions will be creating completely different realities. So there isn't a fixed reality that we all see. There is what's happening through these chemical interpretations, these body-mind mechanisms which interpret it. And the interpretation will be different depending on the structure of the body-mind mechanism. But you can't say there is a world without the body-mind mechanism. Really, the world and the body-mind mechanism are the same thing. Without the brain, there is no world. But without the world, there is no brain. They kind of are the same thing. What we believe as humans is we think that we are a person inside this body, that we are the chemical reactions which are interpreting this world. So this energy sucks them all in and makes it a solid person. So in every instant, there are chemicals interpreting, giving the appearance of a world, of a particular world, but that all becomes sucked in as if there is a separate entity inside the body. As if that makes up someone, rather than all there ever is life, is what is. We believe there is an us that's moving through time in relationship with a separate world. So we believe that these chemicals, these thoughts, ideas, emotions, feelings, sensations, make us. And that makes somebody inside here, a soul inside here, looking out at a separate world, where really all there is what's happening. There isn't an internal and external world. There isn't anything in relationship with what is. There is simply what is appearing. And the person that we think, or that feels like it's inside of the body, is actually happening everywhere and is everything. There isn't actually a difference. There isn't something in here watching an outside world. The world and those chemical reactions are one and the same thing. And life is looking through billions of bodies simultaneously, or having the experience of billions of bodies simultaneously. But it's hard to speak about because we're speaking in the world of chemical reactions. So we're speaking through a body which is limited to the body-mind makeup. So the words and the language of that particular body-mind mechanism, and speaking in opposites, our language is based on subject-object. And we're speaking through a mechanism which sees reality through time. There isn't actually time, but the body-mind mechanism sees it through time, sees it through this movement, through time of cause and effect, of this to that, of movement, of one form to another form. And so therefore, when we speak about it, we're trying to point to something that isn't in that world, that isn't in the world of the chemical reactions, isn't in the world of what we could say or not say, or think about or not think about. It's beyond all of that. Hi, pal.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
Um, okay, I have delay, so I need to turn off the Ustream.
Yeah, you can see me at the right time through Skype.
All right, great.
You can see my image as well through Skype as well.
Yes. I was thinking yesterday about roles that human plays are playing, and um, when there is no wish to get out from any role, like it used to be before, then any role is um, okay. I mean, and no role is a problem anymore. It's more like a play, not serious.
Yeah.
You can be a teacher, you can be a police officer, you can be a doctor, and it's like a desire to be useful in this world.
I'm sorry?
When and when any role isn't a problem anymore, there is some kind of desire to be useful in this world.
Oh, you have a desire to be useful?
Yeah.
And that's different from the other ones, the other roles.
It's just the desire I have some time ago. It was like I wish to get out from any role.
Yeah.
Because my mind was so involved in the past, in the story, so I just wanted to quit with anything, with any image of myself that someone could perceive me through that role. And suddenly it is not a problem anymore. So what is left is some kind of usefulness. It's like from a heart that I want to be part of it. Like it is not even wanting, just like this usefulness is like a present moment.
I think you're just trying to make up new stories. That's fine, that's not a problem, but what does it matter? What does any of that matter? It's all simply chemical reactions in every instant happening. Whether you are wanting to be a role, not wanting to be a role, wanting to be helpful, this present moment, the feeling of oneness, not oneness. What does any of it matter? The only thing that matters in the human world is the movement towards growth. That's it. That's the only thing that can matter in the chemical reactions.
This growth, the word you used, the growth, I said usefulness. It's more like a connection.
That's chemical reactions. It doesn't matter. When I say growth, I mean the body-mind mechanism wants to survive. Useful growth, it doesn't matter. The only functioning of the body-mind mechanism is to survive and to carry on its genes. I nearly said dreams. Genes. To carry on its genes. That's it. That's all it's designed to do. So that's all the chemical reactions will be about. If you believe any of those chemical reactions are you, then suddenly there becomes a you in relationship with life. And then the suffering begins, which is fine also. That's another chemical reaction. But none of it's you. It's all just happening.
So there's no more suffering.
So you phoned in to just tell me that there's no more suffering for an innocent reason. Not to be something. Just to be innocently said. You're not growing towards being something.
That's silly.
Huh?
Maybe it's silly that I just...
No, it's not silly. It's just you're trying to be something, to grow. Like I said, that's the only thing the human does. Is it wants to grow. It wants to be things. It wants more power.
Oh.
Oh, that's not your motive.
It's not like from the survival position.
Oh, really? You can be something outside of survival in the human?
when the survival is no more the issue, like it is a fact, right? It is not like thinking in every second, survive, survive, survive.
Well, yes, but that's all the body-mind mechanism is. So that's all the chemical reactions are about, is growing.
Yeah, but it comes to the second the survival is, how to say, is more like behind, right? What comes to the foreground is like the spaciousness, the usefulness. I don't know. I just this word sounds right for me right now. Usefulness.
Okay, if that's what you want to tell me. If that's what wants to be told, then okay. You want to phone up and tell me that... fine. Okay.
Okay.
There's not much else we can talk about. I just see all of that as you trying to be something, as you trying to grow. And you don't. You see it as beyond the human experience, but everything that is experienced in the world is through the interpretation of the body-mind mechanism. So everything that you're telling me is in the human realm. That you can't see spaciousness. Spaciousness is. If you think in any way that you can see it or experience it, then it's all about the human. It's all about the person.
No, I didn't mean about experience. It's just like when the survival is no more the issue, the main attention of this body, then it starts to from this perspective, like doing thing that this body
whose
wants.
perspective is that? You
Sorry?
think you can step outside of the human being's perspective when you think? All thinking is in the human realm.
Sorry, can you repeat?
All thinking is in the human realm. So you think this stuff that you're just telling me, or you feel this stuff, and that's all within the interpretation of the body-mind mechanism. Who thinks and feels all of that? The only thinker and feeler in this world can be the body-mind mechanism. You think as spaciousness you can think or feel? Spaciousness, life has no qualities. It has to use a body-mind mechanism in order to think or feel. So therefore it all has to be interpreted through the body-mind mechanism. Life has no qualities. As the absolute, the absolute can't think, the absolute can't feel, the absolute can't see. So you can't speak through the body-mind mechanism or think through the body-mind mechanism about the absolute. All of those are human experiences that you're talking about. But you think that they're beyond the human experience. But it's just in the human experience, it's just about growth and being something better than what you are, which isn't a bad thing. That's what the human does, is it's always trying to be more powerful than what it is. In no way are you wrong, or am I criticizing you. It's the same with the Lisa body-mind mechanism. It's the same with everything. Everything in this world is about growth. All of it. Look around you. Everything. So everything you think, feel, or reflect about liberation is in the world of growth, is in the world of subject-object, and isn't what non-duality talks about. Non-duality is way beyond any interpretation coming from this chemical reaction. It is, but it's nothing that you can perceive in any way. So if you think or feel like you can perceive or make sense of any of this, then that's not it. You can't comprehend non-duality at all. As soon as you've comprehended it, you're just in the human world, and the human world is about being better than what it is. It's always about growing and adding, adding, adding. The end of suffering is when that is no longer taken to be a separate person experiencing the world, but again, that cannot be seen by anybody. It's just a movement of energy from a person in relationship to life to simply life. But again, it doesn't really matter if it does that or not. It's all still life, divided or not. There isn't any personal liberation. There is nobody that gets enlightened.
If I could compare to what you are doing, the usefulness of your talks, they are useful until the individual, the separate self collapse. Then after the construction of this separate self, there is no more interest in these talks.
Yeah, maybe I don't know, but they're not useful really. I mean, relatively in the human world, you could say it's useful. Like you could say a spade is useful to dig a hole.
Yeah, it's just the word usefulness. I don't know, is there any other word I could use right now? It just seems correct for me right now to say usefulness. I think it's kind of sweet to be useful, not to trying to be someone important, not this kind of usefulness. It's just the sweetness of connection with other people.
Yeah. Doesn't really, it's no higher than the murderer or the paedophile. It's no higher or better in the terms of non-duality. Life has no quality. Like the essence of everything has no quality, so it is indifferent to what it creates. And none of it's more non-duality than another thing. It might be nice for connection over not connection, over disconnection, but again, that's only for the person. That's okay though, to be for the person, but it's not talking about non-duality, which is what we're talking about, non-duality. But we so badly want non-duality to be something personal, something about us, and it's nothing to do with us. Yet everything that makes us up, every last detail, every chemical reaction, good or bad, is it.
It's nice to speaking with you, Lisa.
Yes, thank you. Bye. Yeah, sure. I was just going to call someone else.
I don't see your screen, so I don't know what's it.
Yeah.
You often ask like, what's looking out of your eyes, or what's hearing. And it's clear that all these sensory perceptions just are already there without, and then there is a story about somebody that should see this or feel this or whatever. It's always later than that because it's all the time already there.
Yeah.
But there is also this. So yeah, it is already there. It's already.
And it comes inherent with all things: the looking, the hearing, the seeing, all of it. Yeah.
So there is also this pointer that says everything is looking.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't get that one.
Oh yeah. Well, isn't the looking inherent in everything?
So it's book, but then let's say looking is being, it's the same, appearing, whatever.
Yeah. But it's not separate from the things, the looking.
No.
Like, where is this difference between looking and that pillow?
Yeah. Yeah. So then the confusing part would be looking, because when you talk about looking, there's always something looking at something else.
Yeah.
So it's just meant everything's appearing. It's just.
It is. Yeah. So everything is looking, everything's hearing. It's not you that's hearing. It's looking through that body, mind mechanism, but ultimately it's everything.
Like
the sound is, The sound is, the sights are. All of it is. And it's not somebody individual looking. It's everything experiencing itself, seemingly through a body, mind mechanism that's ears and eyes. So through the human functioning, but ultimately it's everything or nothing looking.
Yeah, that's very nice. You started talking. You started up with talking about. Oh no, I don't know anymore. That all life is being experienced by life itself.
Yeah.
With including stories about individual lives and all that.
And all experiences. Like, we believe that our body here is interpreting a separate world out there, but really, if it was looked at through a microscope, it would be seen that it's all simply chemical reactions happening, giving the appearance that something here is looking at an outside there, but ultimately they're one and the same thing. It's just through this part it's giving the appearance that it's looking out at something outside, but the brain and the world are the same thing.
Yeah.
And then if you looked at it at a microscope, you'd never find the edge to anything. It's just energy pulsating, then goes down to nothing after energy.
Yeah, it's really mysterious.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Just going to put this, let this fire up.
So there's also there are people that say, or you see this or you don't. And there are also people that say, it can be a gradual thing. This is a question very often asked, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, really there isn't gradual, because we're looking through this world through a human body mind mechanism which sees time.
Yeah.
And really time isn't, like, it's appearing in this, but it's not like this moment has come from the past. So there's not like a progressive person that's actually moved through time and got to this moment and gradually awoken.
Yeah. Okay, so so in fact, when I would think of I've been through this and that, it's a dream. It's a creation here that I hadn't passed at all.
But that's how this body-mind mechanism functions. So we should always be able to see time as a body-mind mechanism, and we should be able to describe what this body-mind mechanism's done. But we've taken it to be us, and then we think that us, which isn't really there, all it is chemical reactions happening in every instant. We believe that that person then can wake up, but it's not a reality. There's nothing there.
No, that is not.
There's not something really moving through time.
Yeah.
It's a complete opposite way of looking at everything. But the time does appear, like it does appear to be moving through time, because that's how this world's meant to appear. But really, we never have past and future. We only ever have this instant. We have memories of past and future. So all we ever have is chemical reactions happening in this instant, telling us about past and future, and imagining ourselves as a solid thing. But in every instant, that solid thing that we imagine ourselves to be is changing.
It's gone.
And and it's a new one, but it comes in a pattern, so it looks like there is something here and there. Crazy thing. And there's absolutely no personal enlightenment. The person is set up, is wired, because there's nothing that could possibly be enlightened. There's a pattern playing out of that body-mind mechanism, but there's nothing. What could be enlightened? There's nothing there that could be enlightened. There was never anything really in the body. Like there was an energy that pulled it all in and said, "That's me." I suppose what we could describe as enlightened is the collapse of this energy which is sucking it all in and saying, "That's me." But really, that was never a reality, because even when it was saying, "That's me," it was still always boundlessness. It was still always total freedom. So even waking up is kind of funny, because there's never been anything but total waking up, like total freedom. There's never been something in there which is in relationship with the world. It's just been giving the appearance.
Yeah.
So all there ever has been is freedom expressing itself everywhere. Even when it was bounded, nothing was lost. But we imagine waking up to be a personal thing. So we imagine something personal that wakes up. So we imagine that we know it in some way. And in one way you could say the person knows it from a comparison to a before and after. But that's not, that's all in the personal world again. And that isn't what wakes up. Like it's boundlessness. Life is of no quality. It has no quality. It was never asleep. It was never lost. It was never suffering. It was creating all of that. But we imagine that in some way life or boundlessness can register it, but it only creates instruments in through which it can register things.
Yeah.
So life is totally innocent and naked. And it was never ever bound, and it never ever really woke up again, because it always was free. Always. There's nothing which can hit it or hurt it in any way. That's hard to put into words. Because we always look at it as us. Something human. Even our recognition, we acknowledge a before and after in the human world. But life has no before and after. Creates all of that, but it has none of it. The essence of everything has no quality, but it's every quality. So really, truly nothing wakes up. And every registration of it in the human world is really poor representation of anything about it. The human world is simply about evolving and growing and surviving, passing on the genes. So it will only look at life through that, because that's the only tools it has, through evolution, or through the functioning of the body-mind mechanism, which has always been about the progression of survival.
Is that also then because some teachers say that there is no interest in freeing people or whatever, because it is already, everything is already free.
Yeah.
And it is an illusion anyhow. So.
Yeah. Yeah, they don't see people too free, I presume, because this is simply chemical reactions speaking to each other. So they don't, I presume, project something in there.
Yeah.
Even if they are talking as if they do, ultimately there's no sense of that. You think that those chemical reactions are more you, whereas you is everything that's happening now. Life is everything that's happening now. That's really the experiencer, and in that comes the experience of those chemical reactions. But really, it's the same as this. I need to turn some light on. Do you know what I did before I went out and walked Khaleesi in my slippers? And guess what? This can only happen to the Lisa body-mind mechanism. I trod in poop. I can smell it. And then I put it on Khaleesi's bed when I crawled on. So they're meant to be my indoor shoes, but I forgot to change them. And then I thought, is that Khaleesi? But then I realised it was Lisa. And I went on all the pathways and I still trod in poop. Should I take another call?
Yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Bradley.
How you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks. How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well, thank you. Is your Skype working?
Oh, yeah, sorry, hang on a sec.
Okay.
She's very possessive dog over her garden. The magpie, she's barking at magpie, and the magpies were in eating her bones, you know, because magpies eat meat. So they were eating the meat out of her bones, and she's discovered this. So she's very possessive.
Is a magpie like a crow?
It's the black and white one, similar to a crow, but it's got white in it as well. I don't know. Cool. They tend to be different in every country, actually, because in Australia they were grey, the magpies.
Right. Good to see you. Thank you for calling.
My pleasure.
I guess of late, I've heard you talking about, and it's not non-duality, it's tidying the cage.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, if tidying the cage is happening, that's really no problem.
No. And still going on in the Lisa programming, there is still the movement towards improving it, always. Like my program's far from perfect. Ask Paul, who's just sat there.
I'm not saying anything.
So there's still the attempt, but when you believe it's you, then it becomes so much more real, and you believe that you're doing it as well, and that makes up you.
So there's no problem if tidying the cage seems to result in more serenity, as long as I don't equate that to waking up.
No, yeah, well, even if you do equate it to waking up, that's simply another chemical reaction happening. But when you believe, what can be very hellish is if you believe that you can find enlightenment inside that cage, then you'll constantly spin. If you don't, if it's just seen as like a tidying the house, you know, and then the house gets dirty again and you tidy the house, you know, it's like a never-ending thing. Like it's just something which will make life better, then that's really beautiful. Why not? Why not improve the body-mind mechanism? If I don't know how you go about doing it. It just kind of happens when new information's learnt, and new situations present themselves. But there's nothing at all wrong with that. And in the West, we tend to sometimes have really screwed up thought patterns about things. Like we've passed on sometimes really irrational ideas and assumptions. So I'm really not against clearing the filter or tidying the filter, but it's not going to ever get you to completion. That's something that will always be moving and always changing. And really, there's no fixed thing there. It's every moment, it's fresh and new, but it appears that way. It appears as patterns going through time. A lot of people, though, teach tidying the cage and waking up at the same time, and they're not the same things at all. They've got nothing to do with each other. It's not like tidying your cage will get you more to non-duality. Can't at all. You cannot get to non-duality through the person.
Because non-duality dawns or it doesn't dawn. It already is, but the experience of it or the seeing of it either happens or it doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, basically, there is no seeing of it from a human perspective, but there can be this energetic collapse that happens of taking all this chemistry and biology to be you, like to cut it off and be you. There's a practical functioning of it being you, but it's no longer the back of the universe. It's no longer the experiencer of this world. It is an experience happening. Even that, though, even that information, I think can most probably improve the conditioning of the body-mind mechanism. So even that information, I think, can help tidy the cage. Having those sort of bits of knowledge, like, I think can help the person become a more functional and sort of sane chemical reactions, not always exploding at very little things. But that's not non-duality. Non-duality is, and life cannot be perceived through the chemical reactions of the person. I mean, what I mean by life, I mean what is oneness or not two cannot be perceived through the person in any way. The person is designed to see in subject-object, in two-ness. That's how it's designed. And then in that two-ness, it uses everything that it comes in contact with to grow, to move towards growth and survival. And that's how it, it's like a machine, and it takes in its information, it takes in its environment in order to survive better. So there's nothing in that world which can hear or comprehend non-duality. Everything in that world will try and use non-duality to grow to be a better person, because that's all what this chemistry does, is to grow and be better than what it is. And there's nothing wrong or right with that. That's just the way it works, just like the tree takes the nutrients from the soil in order to grow towards the sun. But non-duality will never ever be found in that world. Ever. Non-duality it uses all of that to have a particular experience. Non-duality cannot be seen, yet it is. Cannot be heard or felt, or anything in that world of two. But yet it always is. Life is always free. This is never somebody experiencing this world. And no matter how much life gives that appearance that somebody's experiencing this world, everything is always made up of life, which is total boundlessness, even that appearance of the cage. But it's really nothing to do with the person at all. It's crazy that any of the body-mind mechanisms come to listen, because it's got nothing to do with the growth of the body-mind mechanism.
But the growth of the body-mind mechanism is perfect in it, or arising from it, or of it, right?
Yep. And maybe why it is beginning to listen to it, it maybe it helps the body-mind mechanism function better.
And so it's actually more natural. This question is leading. Is it more natural than for the body-mind mechanism well, you're saying it's natural for the body-mind mechanism to
seek further improve. Yeah. And to grow.
And what has no problem with that?
No. And totally, it doesn't have a problem with anything. The completion comes though when all of that is no longer sucked in to make an experiencer in here, like something separate in here. But whether that happens or not doesn't matter to life, because life has no agenda. It doesn't have that ability.
Fair enough. Thank you, Lisa.
My pleasure. Thanks, Bradley.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Hey, Jesse!
Hi! Hi, Lisa.
Hi!
Hi. I have a couple of questions. You hear me okay?
Yeah, I hear you.
Oh, good. This first one is pretty esoteric. I don't even know if I can articulate it, honestly. But I was sitting on the couch and I was kind of, I fully, as much as I can, accept the fact that there's no free will, that this is all happening, like you say, like chemical reactions and things like that. And I fully subscribe to that as much as can be done, I think, and at least here. So I'm looking at my body, and the body is separate. So you were just talking about trees going out in Europe. Well, animals, human being, body, mind, organism, for lack of a better word, it behaves exactly as it's, you say supposed to, that's too much, but as if it's
separate, yeah.
Yeah, as it's, I can't even say meant to, it unfolds perfectly in the moment. But what I'm thinking is, this goes in sort of like in the world of relativity, looking back, I'm just wondering, is all that pre-programmed at birth, and it's set into the DNA because I am thinking, saying, doing exactly what is meant to be done right now. The same was true in this movie when I was 5 years old, 10 years old.
Well, really, it's all spontaneously happening now, so it's not set when you're born, because in every instant it's appearing freshly. But in the world of cause and effect, so in the relative world, yes, it's all following out its pattern.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, and so it will always act within its pattern, and that pattern cannot ever be any other way. And that pattern will always be influenced by the external, but the external is same as the internal, and the pattern. It's not like the pattern could potentially meet a different external. The internal pattern and the external pattern are the same thing. You can't have a potential different. So even though the body-mind mechanism seems to be influenced by the external world, really in the terms of energy, if you break it all down, it's all happening at the same time, simultaneously, and they're not divided from each other. Really, there isn't a body moving through a separate world. There is energy playing out. And so that pattern, which is the pattern of the whole world, which includes that body-mind mechanism, has got one pattern to play out. And it cannot ever be any different.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Oh, my pleasure.
That's really got at it. It's just a second question. I was wondering if you might be able to tell me about resonance. I mean, people say, well, you have resonance with people, not just if you understand what they're saying or you think that they're right or something like that. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in front of you and everything goes right, you might be buckling, having a hard time finding my room. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
What is that? I think.
I don't know. I know at other times I have answers to that, but I don't know. Like,
It's quite nice, whatever it is. Well, thank you so much for calling.
Oh, my pleasure. Nice to see you guys again.
Always.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Phyllis. You have any more questions? Yeah.
Hi, Lisa.
Hi, Maria.
I was surprised. I was almost fall asleep. I was so relaxed and hearing you. I just wait.
It's okay if you've forgotten what you were going to say.
Can you see?
Yeah, I can see you.
Hi.
Hi.
Yeah. Can you see me?
Yeah, I can see you, yeah. And the line seems good this week. The line.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
The line. I was going to say the line seems good.
Yeah, it seems very nice now. Good. So it's everything it's include in this, including in this. Everything like everything in it doesn't matter what is happening, it is included in this.
Yeah.
So it's matter for the person, right?
Yeah.
With this.
Yeah.
But.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not necessarily meaning the person as the separate experiencer. What I mean is the chemical reactions, the biology of the person is to grow. So the biology of the person is to move towards pleasure. So that is designed to move more and more towards pleasure. But it's an instantaneous thing. There's not actually a solid person there experience. It's just happening in every instant. That experience of moving towards pleasure, of moving towards more power, of moving towards more, obtaining more. Oh, yes, please. Are you getting yourself a coffee?
You want coffee?
Oh, yes, please.
Some?
Nee, denk je wel.
I can see him in the Skype box, moving.
So the person will always try.
Yeah, to grow.
Go forward. Yeah.
Yeah, and feel better, feel more pleasure. It will always try to get its maximum
But-
amount of pleasure.
Yeah, but the who you are, everything, it not really care about.
It doesn't even, not really. It hasn't got the ability to care. Everything, beingness doesn't even have the ability to care. It doesn't have anything, and yet it is everything. It can only care through an instrument, so it creates caring in the human, in the body-mind mechanism of the human, through these amazingly clever and intricate tricks.
I love you so much.
Oh, I love you too. Gracias.
It's coffee you're drinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Paul's hit the wine already. I'm on coffee, he's on wine. He's on a downer, I'm on an upper. What does that say about us two?
Maybe later.
Yeah. Nice. Oh, lovely to speak with you again, Maria.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.
Say hi to Felicia.
Oh yeah, well, she's just sat here. She's growling at my guest. She's being very impolite, and she stinks as well.
So sweet. So sweet.
Yeah, but I'm bonded to her. She produces very pleasurable chemicals, so I put up with the smell, with the growling. Look at her.
Yeah, she's really sweet and
Yeah.
and make this noises, beautiful noises.
Yeah, yeah, beautiful
Like
noises.
like this.
Yeah.
Sometimes when you hear you stream and you hear like she's doing this, it's very very sweet. Very sweet.
Nice. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
And it's Ilango. Please call Ilango. Do you have any more questions before? Lango will take a long time.
Maybe sometimes sleep.
Yeah.
When you fall asleep or you just wake up, there is a certain quality, or it always feel like it's the same thing. It's a weird question. Okay, when you say everything is appearing, right?
Yeah.
And you see it's clear everything appears already, and then this thing starts talking in there. But the appearance of everything, if it's carried in something that feels like deep in the sleep or whatever, and it's sort of same taste. Is it something you recognize, or
I don't understand what you mean.
no?
Like the deep sleep is here?
Yeah.
In one way, the deep sleep is here. Like in order for there to be, well, in order for there to be something happening, there has to be absolutely nothing happening.
Yeah.
There has to be the both at the same time. In order for there to be movement, there has to be the stillness.
It's like the waking state is appearing in the.
Not really appearing in it, but it is it. It's made of it.
Yeah.
Like all of it's made of that deep sleep, but that deep sleep is non-existent. So existence is the only thing that can be. So existence is made of non-existence, but non-existence doesn't exist, so it cannot be seen in existence. But yet every part of it is made of that non-existence. We fear the deep sleep because we fear the absence of existence. So we fear that when we die that we'll go to non-existence. But it never exists.
How can it be that we are talking about non-existence?
I don't know. in existence. I don't know.
Is that maybe because there's a sensing of the one, where it all comes together?
It's funny because I take every question very seriously, like not seriously, but it's like every question I'm like,
I just gave like a survey, it's not a big thing.
and that one's like, it's like the sound of one hand clapping, you know, that.
Yeah.
You can't know about it in the or speak about it in anything that's coming or out of the human, or even thinking about it, because it doesn't exist in that world. We can talk about existence, but in the world of the body-mind mechanism, there is no non-existence. So you cannot find it in that world at all, but yet the whole world is made of it. And I don't know how we're talking about it or how that's known, but yet it is.
Yeah.
When it's never found in existence, you cannot find it in existence. We cannot go anywhere to find non-existence. Where? Even when we sleep, we then just wake up again, 2 hours of sleep, and then oh.
Did your sleeping change or something? Is it something different?
No. I've always been a good sleeper. But I still have nightmares.
Oh yeah.
I'm sure the same amount as before. Oh, we'll move on to a longer. That was non-existence, that's okay. Everything just disappeared. Alanga got really excited, I think, as he heard I said I'd call him, and then he's called a few times. Hi, Elango.
Hello.
Hi, Elango.
Able to see me?
No, I can't see you. I can see a picture of you.
1 second. Thanks for calling.
My pleasure.
I'm just muting the.
Hi.
Hello. Able to see a window within a window? Skype? A smaller window inside the Skype.
No, I can't see a small window.
It's looking very. Oh, it's gone. Okay. So, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you doing, Elango?
Fine, thank you. So, you're able to see me now?
Yeah, I can see you very well.
Okay, the question for today
Yeah.
is still the clarity on who I am. From your teachings, I am everything and nothing. But looking at it from the point of view of the mind, is it always a state of negation? I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am not my emotions, I am not my pleasures and pains and my sufferings, but I am all that which sees this or experiences this, which is the this of the moment. Am I right in that?
Well, that tends to be the way I would speak. Not quite like that, but I would be more of a negative teacher, like not this, not that. But it doesn't really. It's nothing to do with the person. So it's nothing to do with that practice or somebody seeing what you're not. Like, who would see what you're not?
Yeah, who's seeing that? That's the doubt I have. Who's the one who's analyzing all these things?
Yeah.
Is it the everything or is it the person?
Ultimately, it's everything, but there isn't really a person. But anything that's thought or felt or seen or smelt is in the personal world. So the person that's analysing the analysing is in the human world. So that's a personal thing.
But you always say that the five senses, me talking, you talking, us listening, is actually the God.
Yes,
So the question is God working as, a servant of the me?
Mm-hmm.
Acting dumb for the moment, because it is God who created the body, God who created the mind, God created the me, and to be a bit sarcastic, God suddenly wanted to play dumb as a me. That's what's happening, right?
Well,
the God principle suddenly says, no, I do not know anything, I am a bit ignorant, I'm stupid, I'm caught in this me world. For a time being, it plays this hide and seek. That's what's happening?
No, not quite like that, because God hasn't got a quality, so it's not stupid or doesn't care either way, which way it goes.
Yeah, but apparently it doesn't have like that in human world.
It doesn't have a quality, but everything that thought, felt, smelt and touched is God and a reflection of God. But God can't get more to itself through the deduction of what it's not. That's only happening in the chemical reactions of the person. And then this energy sucks it in and says, that's me, and I'm getting closer to God, or I'm waking up.
But we had said the me has no control over the present situation of the now.
No.
But then apparently it appears that the me is analyzing all these things, and the five senses and the body, which is actually the God, is working for it. Is it so? I am asking this question only from the mind part of it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, these questions won't come in.
Yeah.
So, are my body and mind working for the me, which means the me has a subtle control over what's happening in the question answer session at least?
I wish other people could see your face, Elanco, because he asked that question and then a big smile came out. But other people don't get to see that. They just hear the question, and the question might sound serious, and then you see Elanco like.
Maybe we can have some sort of a Skype where the person can be seen on a window.
Yeah, that would be fun. That would be nice. No, nothing's working for the me. There isn't any independent doer. It's like you know how like when you see a firework go into the sky and you see that big explosion, like it's one energy exploding. And then it's giving all these different colours and different experiences. And then, like, so you know when you see a firework explode, and then there's like one trail that comes off, and then it gives the appearance that it's a separate thing. And then in that, an energy comes and says, that's me, I am just this. Whereas really, that's an explosion, that's a chemical reaction happening. That's the end bit of a chemical reaction. So everything that's happening is simply chemicals. There isn't an internal and external world. If you got out a microscope and looked at everything, you'd never find a border to me and the world. There is simply chemicals exploding, energy exploding into all these chemicals, giving appearances of lots of different things. And then What it does, because it gets so complicated, is it creates this reaction which claims part of the chemicals to be a separate entity experiencing a separate world, just because it does. Just like the fireworks explodes impersonally into all these different colourful formations, but all follow a pattern, same life or energy explodes into this world, creating a pattern. And in that pattern, part of it claims to be a separate experiencer, but it's totally impersonal. Life, the firework, doesn't care what the explosion is. It doesn't have the ability to care. It just explodes. The energy just plays out its pattern.
But apparently there appears to be a connection between the question and answers amongst the firework.
Oh yeah, but like every part of that firework, it's not like a firework goes off and then another part of it explodes over here. It all explodes in one go, and it all follows each other. It follows a pattern. Even in the firework, it follows the rule of the firework. It goes, it doesn't go and then over there. That would be a different firework. It goes in its particular pattern.
So which part of me is asking these questions? Is it from the mind, the me? The me is asking me,
actually,
asking you these
to
questions?
be honest, Ilango, the concept of a me and no me it doesn't exist. There's never been a separate entity, even when it feels like there's a separate entity. There's been chemical reactions happening, giving the appearance that there's a separate entity, but there's no solid me that actually exists. There's not a solid thing that's sitting there like, this is me, this is me. That, I mean, I know I describe it like that sometimes, but really, there's never a me. There's never a separate entity. It's just an appearance that's happening. I have to just plug in my computer. It's running out of power. Bah. No, I don't think so, because it's got the... Oh yeah. Thank you. Oops. Okay, where were we?
Yeah. You were saying to be honest with you.
Oh, right.
But I think you've always been honest with us.
Oh, it's just a figment of speech that comes out. Well, no, actually, I can't really be honest, because you can't ever say it anything accurately.
Okay. So you're saying this me doesn't exist?
No, it's never existed. I'm just splitting it off to try and describe to you guys what the problem is. The problem is that energy which makes it feel like somebody is experiencing life, rather than that being just an experience happening in life.
The me doesn't exist.
No, never has. I just say it like that just to make it clear what's being talked about.
But then what is this thing which is within a human being which connects the storyline from birth to now, to all the La La Land story, the ups and the downs?
Oh, well, that's just the memory. That's the memory happening that connects it all.
Yep.
And then there might be a sense of an energy that's you, and that you've come from time, and that you're somebody. But even that is boundless. That's not even really happening in there. That's boundless. It's totally free. It doesn't belong to anyone. It's just giving the appearance to somebody there looking.
But all these memory files being rigged together by a software, is that not the me software? The energy
Yeah. But it's not really there. There is only ever boundlessness.
But
Like, where does it exist, this separate somebody?
So I don't know. I don't know.
It's everywhere. Can you find an internal and external? You can't find the cutoff to you and the external world.
So the real me is this happening.
Yeah. But it's not the real
then,
you. All there ever is this happening with lots of different appearances. And one appearance might be, I am separate from everything else, which isn't true. And all these appearances are energy expressing itself in multiple different ways, creating consciousness in the body and thoughts and ideas, giving the experience that somebody is looking through a body. But when you break it all down, it's energy, all the same energy, and that energy is empty and non-existent, appearing as existence.
Okay, forgetting the human beings, those of like you who have where the me has disappeared, why is it that you are able to only see through your eyes? I mean, if you are everywhere, the vision should be everywhere.
Yeah, but like,
why contained within a body then? If I am everywhere, why should I require my eyes to see?
Because life needs to look through an object to see other objects. But don't set me up as the enlightened one, please. Well,
then who should be?
Huh? Who
is enlightened?
There's nobody that's enlightened.
Yeah, but what about Buddha?
He wasn't enlightened. There's no person that can be possibly enlightened.
Then who's enlightened?
Everything.
But in the human life, we take a definition of enlightenment when this me energy dies and that body-mind apparatus feels like what you're feeling. That is what we label as enlightenment in the dictionary.
But it's not a feeling. Lisa still carries on being Lisa.
Then if Lisa is still carrying on being Lisa, what is the difference between Lisa and Ilango?
There is no difference. The only thing that might be happening in Ilango is an energy which is making, which keeps reporting back, saying, I'm looking, I'm this, I'm this, I'm this.
That
but there's
is
nothing which
Lisa?
is, huh?
Is that missing in Lisa? Is that energy which in Ilango which says, I am looking, is that stopped with you?
We always get here, Ilango. I don't know how. We always go into this conversation where eventually I have to claim to be something.
You not answered that question. You said that Ilango keeps on saying, the only thing difference between Lisa and Ilango is, Ilango has this I am looking, I am happening, whereas in Lisa, apparently it appears it has died.
But you're very clever, because I say that and then you turn it back on me and then you say, so in Lisa it stopped happening.
But what is the difference between Lisa and Ilango and the rest of us?
But why do you need that difference? Why do you need me to be more powerful than you?
No. The question is not trying to put you on a pedestal. No, not at all. The thing is that the way that you make things happen is there is no prescription.
Yeah.
But there is a description. And in that description, there is an inherent prescription available. So you keep on saying there is no teaching. Every word that you speak, there is a teaching. I think some masters have said the only way is there is no way, itself is a way. The only teaching is no teaching, itself is a teaching. So we are trying to find out from you as to what happened in you so that can synchronize somewhere within us, destroy the me energy or this I am.
Hang on a second.
Because ultimately the crux is this.
I can't really tell the difference between you and me, Ilango, only on a functioning level. only on a practical, I can say Lisa did that and Lango did that, but apart from that, the idea that you have a contracted me and I don't is such nonsense.
Do you have a contracted you? Before Bali and after Bali? When you were listening to Ramesh, you were questioning him like I am questioning you.
I never asked Ramesh where he was.
Yeah, we differ. Because Ramesh's teaching was different. He had a teacher-student relationship happening, and his teaching was different, and what you say is also different.
It just is. All I see if I tell you that, if I tell you that I have no me, or in some way I'm different from you, it's only a game.
But that's what all of us are playing now. You are the speaker and I am the heard.
Yeah.
That's the game happening.
Maybe this is all a load of nonsense, and maybe it can never be talked about.
You're saying this is nonsense.
Maybe we can't talk about it.
Talk about what?
Non-duality.
But we are talking.
We are talking, yeah.
Is there a person speaking to me? Because this is don't mistake us, this is an opportunity we can't afford to miss.
No, it's not. It's Lango playing a power game.
No.
Yes, it is. That's all he can ever do. That's
Power
all
for
that's all the body-mind mechanisms are doing, is moving towards obtaining more pleasure. That's all the body-mind mechanisms are doing.
But is that wrong?
No, it's not.
For a body mind, because this is a predator. Last talk you were saying the human is a predator, the worst predator. And in your book you had asked a young man, if you want constant orgasm, and he said no.
There's nothing wrong, but in that world it's all subject-object.
But I think every seeker wants infinite ecstasy.
Yeah.
No pain, always pleasure. That's ultimately what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Spiritual seeking ultimately boils down. I have a friend in India who said, I asked him, define spirituality.
Yeah.
He said, spirituality for people who do not know how to live. Because if you're living the moment, you won't be asking questions about the moment. That was a very different definition of spirituality. People talk about the Vedas, about spirituality, about Buddha, when they are not able to see a sunset and not listen to a song of a bird. So those of us who are in spirituality, if we do not know how to live, we ask questions about how to live. And all of us ultimately aim for a constant pleasure. That's what this human animal wants. Am I wrong?
Yeah, the human animal wants constant pleasure, yeah.
And is trying to find out how to destroy the I, the me.
Actually, what it's doing is it's trying to add things onto itself.
And at some point trying to find out, is there a way to self-detonate? Isn't it? Destruction of the I.
Actually, it doesn't want that. It wants more pleasure. It just associates the detonation of itself as more pleasure.
Pardon, what is that last sentence?
It just associates that as more pleasure.
Yeah.
It just wants to become more and more stronger.
Yeah, more pleasure, more stronger.
Yeah.
And but where does non-duality play a role in these spiritual seekers like us?
Huh? Where does what?
What's the role of see, people who are in spiritual seeking also want constant pleasure in the term of by means of enlightenment. People who are not in spirituality also want pleasure. So both of them are more or less on the same platform. But then where does non-duality play a role in spiritual seekers? Because the common man wants pleasure, seeker wants pleasure. Ultimately, he is a predator. A body-mind mechanism which wants infinite pleasure, and having suffered wants to end suffering. That is one of the things which you have told and Buddha told, and a lot of masters talk about the end of suffering, peace of mind as the ultimate state of enlightenment. So ultimately it all bears down to that.
Sorry?
How to be in constant. Ultimately it all bears down to how to end suffering.
Yeah.
To cut the spiritual jargon, it ultimately boils down in common language how to end suffering, and it appears for the human being, end of suffering is the end of this me contracted energy or the I, and taking life as you are talking to us. Everything happens in the this, and the person comes and goes. But the point is, we forget it the moment, probably after we stop listening to your talks.
I can tell you what the end of suffering is. The end of suffering, the suffering is a contraction which happens inside of the body and takes on quality, saying, this is me and I am experiencing life. It's something that doesn't happen in Khaleesi. But what you're asking me to do is you're asking me to look at myself, and this is where I refuse to answer you. And you're asking me to talk about non-duality in the structure of growth. So as soon as you start talking about the experience here, you're asking me to talk about it through growth. Like body-mind mechanism is growing towards pleasure, moving towards pleasure. It's trying to grow, grow, grow. You're asking me, so you're saying, is there a Lisa there or not there? That can only be a personal thing, my answer.
What did you say, release?
That can only be a personal thing.
Now before that you said something, release?
Lisa, I said. I've forgotten what I said before that.
Okay.
Like, that can only be something for Lisa. That can only be in the personal world. You're asking me a question in subject-object world. So you're asking me if there's not a Lisa there, which is the opposite to there is being a Lisa there, and neither of them exist.
The Lisa being there, the Lisa not being there.
Yeah.
There is only life.
There is only life. And there's no difference between the chemical reaction and the world. Like a chemical interpretation and the world. So if this body-mind mechanism thinks it's dark or it's cold, all there is it's dark or it's cold. Because that which is interpreted is the same thing as the world. You can't ask me if there's a Lisa there or not. I know sometimes I say there isn't, but really that's just to satisfy everyone that's in the world of opposites and believes in the world of opposites.
Then what is the honest answer?
As soon as you start asking about my experience, I can no longer speak about it. I can only speak about the experience of the character, which is in growth and pleasure and pain.
So is there a character in you then? I don't mean the character of, like not the, I'm talking about the person.
Where is me? Who is me?
The person talking to me, I'm looking at the screen, which is named by the name Lisa.
It's not her that wakes up. She is a character.
So what is the difference between Lisa the character and the one who is woken up?
This conversation is a dead end.
Why? Correct me, no?
I can't explain that to you. You see enlightenment in the world of opposites, and I'm trying to tell you it's not about the world of opposites. No one wakes up. So there cannot be not a contraction here for someone.
There is a you said two negatives now. The British way. Uncommonly common. You said there cannot be not a contraction. It means there is a contraction. Which does the personality part of it, the character part of it.
No, I don't understand what you mean. I cannot speak to you about liberation in the world of opposites. So it cannot be the opposite to there is someone there to there isn't someone there. That's still in the personal world.
Okay, I understand. Then speak to me about liberation in the non-personal world, please.
Okay, so I can tell you what liberation is the end of claiming any of these chemical reactions to be an experiencer. Nothing is you, yet everything is it. And the chemical reactions are happening. So if there's the chemical reaction of sight, there's no difference between the machine that's interpreting it and that which is seen. They're one and the same thing. They're happening simultaneously together.
And they are giving an apparent apparition of continuity. Of me claiming I am seeing the screen.
But there isn't someone there, Alango, that's claiming it can see it.
There isn't someone?
No.
But what about this me energy then? You're telling me there isn't someone inside me claiming this.
No. Where is that? It might give the feeling that there's something is, but there isn't anything there.
But that is what is creating the suffering. The memory files. See, for example, I was listening, I don't know, have you heard about Paul Helderman?
Yeah, he's an English guy, yeah.
English guy, teacher. I just saw his things yesterday. He was just telling that that the same thing that you're talking about, and it is by negation that one comes to the thisness of the moment, which is now, and everything else is not the real you. But then for us, over a period of time that we have become acclimatized, for me like 52 years of this thought of I have led a life and tomorrow something is going to happen, yesterday something happened, and then all these memory files come on to this instant of you and I talking, which is the thisness of the moment you're talking, and there the problem comes of suffering, when the past comes and hits the present and distorts the future. If that is not there, what you're saying is what we are experiencing. In moments of being in silence, everything is as it is.
No, that's not what I'm talking about.
No?
There's nothing wrong with the past, the appearance of the past.
But then that produces that reflects on the present moment and creates an anxiety for the future. That is the problem of human beings. Anxiety for the future. Guilt of the past. In the present moment, which distorts.
That's not the problem.
That is not the problem. Then what is the problem? That is how it appears to me. That I keep distorting every present moment. I see something very good. Then something happens, like saying, a thought comes, what is going to happen tomorrow? It produces an anxiety. That is what happens, I think, to all of us, human beings.
Yeah, but that's not the actual problem.
Then what is the actual problem for us? The I.
This energy which claims all of that to be a separate experiencer.
That's what I was asking you, but you said no, there is nothing like that inside me.
But it's not really there. All there is boundlessness. Life is everywhere, right?
Yeah.
All there is life.
There is life everywhere, but there is something inside me which says, be careful of your body and your mind, and that creates a fear complex.
Very good, very good. That is very important. You'd be dead if that wasn't there.
Yeah, but then it goes on overdrive. It goes on overdrive. It creates a fear of what's going to happen tomorrow, the next week, the next month, and creates hell for the present moment. I think that's the problem of human beings. We don't take moment as they come.
No,
Moment to moment.
that's not the
Like
problem. The problem is the energy which sucks that in to be a separate experiencer. It's a different thing.
So there is this energy inside me which does all these things.
It's just an energy which gives the appearance that you are limited to this body and that you're a separate experiencer.
But that energy is mine, isn't it? It is an individual energy of Ilango.
Wow.
Or is it? Isn't it?
I think that your brain works so quickly that I just can't. I can't keep up with it. Like Okay, so what was the question that you asked me?
Yeah. See, even in your book, you're constantly kept talking about the me, the individual me which creates the suffering.
Yeah.
So there is this individual me inside Ilango, and everybody has, all these human beings, the entire race has got an individual me software running in, which destroys the pristine unity of non-duality and creates our suffering. That's what I'm asking.
All that me energy is a sucking in of the behavioral patterns of the body-mind mechanism.
Yeah, but that is to be agreed upon, isn't it? That is there within each individual. The God has become blinded for the moment and creates this me within, say, 1.5 or 2 years of being a child. They keep telling the child, this is your name, this is your father, this is your mother, this is your doll, this is your school, this is your blah, blah, blah. And then this me energy gets activated and creates hell for us. We are agreed upon that there is a me energy in every human being. That is what destroys the pristine beauty of nature, of human life, which is so magical and mysterious and on an autonomous mode. If that me energy is gone, then Bali happens to all of us.
But you imagine Bali is just pleasure. It's not like what you're talking.
But it is absence of suffering which is actually pleasure.
No.
Okay, just a small interlude. I wanted to ask you, when I remember in the book that you spoke about, when you were eating on your banana fritters, the waitress became beautiful, everything became beautiful. There was energy all around. Does that experience still continue? Because we have had those experiences.
No, that was just an experience.
Okay. Now coming back to this me, you agree upon this me being in every human being? Which destroys human life.
But Elango, I'm not going to make you feel better by giving you these concepts.
No, but you had spoken about this in your last speech. With somebody was asking you that this me energy was necessary for the child, maybe a few years or a century earlier on for survival. But now with this modern technology, this me has become so much multiplied that it creates havoc in human life. Don't give me concepts. Talk to me non-duality.
You can't learn non-duality, Alango. It can't be learnt. You can go around all these different speakers and learn all these concepts, but it cannot be found in the concepts. In the concepts is in subject-object. In the concepts, it's always a world of two, me and you. There is always this, no matter what hells come, no matter what thoughts come, no matter what ideas of this being liberated or that not being liberated, or trying to be like this or not being that, of pleasure and pain. It can't be found in any of that. Yet all of that is it, but it cannot be found in anything. Ever. All these body-mind mechanisms are energy expressing themselves. They're not seeing a separate world. The body-mind mechanism and the world are one and the same thing.
If non-duality cannot be learned, then what is non-duality?
Non-duality is. Oh my goodness, you have
Talking about this me energy then, what is your comment on the me energy of every human being?
What seems to arise in most body-mind mechanisms is this energy which claims to be the thoughts, the feelings, the sensations. Those things don't need to change. It's just the energy which contains it and makes it feel like a separate person experiencing a separate world, and that person has come into this moment, has come into this room and sat down in a separate room and will leave that room. And that's not the truth. I can't... All there is life. There isn't an internal and external. This moment hasn't come from something. This moment is appearing. It's not like somebody's moved through a separate world and came into this moment. It simply is. But you can find all sorts of contradictions and opposite arguments to that, because that's what happens in the world of the intellect. You can always have contradictions and say yes but, yes but. That's not, and that can't be the final truth of things, because that's simply words that disappear, and they're in a word and language of opposites. And so what you think then is, you think that Lisa woke up, or you think that in this body-mind mechanism she's more awake than you, but that only exists while Alango's there. When Alango disappears, it's irrelevant. It doesn't even exist, the Lisa body, the Lisa person inside there. There's simply life happening.
But the end of suffering is the dropping of this me energy. Am I right in that?
That's how I would express it, but understand that that's a great failing. Not because of Lisa, not because of Lisa's message, but because it's been put into words, into human words. And humans and their words are based on the idea of growth and the idea of obtaining. And the idea of... Huh?
You said great failing, is it? Failing?
Yeah, failing as in I can't put it into correct words. I can't put it how it is. It can only be put through the filter of the body-mind mechanism, and the way that humans speak is subject-object, and we're talking about the end of subject-object. And it's crazy that the body-mind mechanism even attempts to express it.
But that's what's happening. That's what's happening.
That's what's happening. Yeah.
So that's because through language and speech, that's the only way to convey the unitary message.
Well, I don't even know if it can be conveyed. It's life playing a joke, trying to express it. But in every sound, in every instant of it is it. But in the meaning, it cannot be it.
Yeah, I understand that. But you often talk about this resonance during your talks. So apparently there appears to be a connection. But
well, in some way, there can be a knowing of what's being talked about, but that's confusing because that sounds like a human thing. This is so obvious, but not for the human. It was never the human that experienced. The human was an experience. So this is known, full stop. So that's what I call the resonance, but it's in no way a human thing. It's not the person that wakes up.
Then what wakes up? The next question
Life
drops.
itself.
Life which has slept for some time wakes up.
Well, it never really slept, you see. Everything that I say will run short, because it never really slept. It just seemed to.
It sort of wore Google goggles. Last talk you were talking about the Google goggles. It wore some Google goggles, went for a trip, and then it removed it.
Yeah. But it never really slept because the whole world was it. Everything was it. Everywhere it moved, everything it looked at was it. Was life itself. So it never really slept. It just seemed to have a personal experience.
Yeah, what
then
I meant
in
was
that those human experiences, it then talks amongst the human about what it actually is. And there can be a resonance, what I call resonance, but it's not a personal thing. It's a knowing beyond yourself. It's that existence that's always been, that aliveness that's always been, and that can begin to wake up again. But it's never been asleep, so forget it that I even say it, because every time I say it in the language of opposites.
Yeah. Now, can we say that in childhood, every human being wears these colored goggles, spectacles of green, and everything appears green, personal. When I mean green, I mean personal. And there is a personal world till the enlightenment happens, and that spectacle is removed. And then everything is as it is. When the personal me drops, this energy which says, I am this, drops away. Then there is an end of suffering.
I hate having to say, yes, that's correct to someone, because really it's not. When I speak, it just comes out, but really nothing I say is correct. So then when you say it back to me and then I have to say, yes, that's correct, really I know that it's not, because no language, no words can even touch what's being talked about.
I understand that. So what is talked about is this.
Yeah.
Which cannot be expressed in any language.
Yeah. But yet every sound, every sight, every vision, every feeling, every neurosis, every non-neurosis, every contraction is it. Always. And it's all inherently free. You cannot run out of this. You cannot lose this. You cannot be abandoned by this. Just it dreams it can.
So what you're actually telling us, the message getting across to us is that don't talk, let's stop language, except for, give me the cup.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all.
Oh.
Talking happens, talking happens.
No, only for the functional part of it. You book a flight ticket, you pay your bills and stuff like that.
Whichever part comes up. Susie, Susie.
So you don't agree on liberation and enlightenment?
No, there is no such thing.
But how is it that the entire human race praises the Buddha
How come? What?
as enlightened?
Because
Entire
everybody's
human
praying
race.
for power. The Buddha's just a symbol of everything else. It's a symbol of money. It's a symbol of business. It's just become the symbol of everything else. So then people join these organizations and these religions and these belief systems in order to become more of a person. Become
No, I'm
more.
not talking about this. No, I'm not talking about the orthodox religious outfits like Buddhism or anything else. I'm asking, for example, a person like Ramana Maharishi.
Ramana Maharshi, the name Ramana Maharshi was simply a body-mind mechanism. Like a cow. So
what are the difference between Ramana Maharishi and the rest of us? There is a difference. That body mind understood it's everything, whereas we are still stuck to the I. Won't you agree with that also? The experiential part of it. I'm not telling the theory. Theory, like we can say 2 + 2 = 4.
when you repeat it to me, the reason I don't like saying yes or no is because I can see it's become a new belief. It's so obvious it's become a new dogma. Ramana Maharshi wasn't enlightened. There was no Ramana Maharshi. There is no Lisa. There is no Alango. There's nobody that can become enlightened. There is simply life.
How is it in certain people we say enlightenment is the end of suffering? Ramana Maharshi, there was an end of suffering.
I don't know if that's the case with Ramana Maharshi.
Then we come back to Lisa. Because I can't ask Ramana Maharishi. No? We asked you, is there an end of suffering in your life? Am I being persistent?
It's just this. It's like Tell me, is the wind enlightened?
Wind, is it?
Yeah.
Is the wind enlightened?
Is the sun enlightened?
Is the sun enlightened?
Is the breeze? Is the warmth? Is the rain? Is the door? Is the wall?
I don't know whether they are suffering. Because human beings, we have thought enlightenment is one, the end of suffering.
But this is where I can't speak with you, because that is who I truly am. The wind, the breeze, the sunlight, your face.
That's the difference I am also asking you, is that
The
I don't
warmth.
feel like that, and the rest of human race don't feel like it. That's the difference between an enlightened person and us.
That's just words coming out of a mouth, and then they're gone. I don't even know what you're talking about. I have to imagine.
But you're giving a very coherent, sane reply, which means you are understanding. Otherwise, you wouldn't understand English language.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know, like, that's all that's looking now is everything. This is everything looking. And then you keep going on about what happens in the body or not in the body. All there is everything. There's the end of contraction. In a way, you can see why talking about there being a collapse of a personal energy becomes such a because it then gives the appearance or the impression of something which it's not. What's looking now is everything. What's hearing now is everything.
From your perspective.
Whose perspective?
The person speaking to me. Because for one Lisa who's speaking, there's a 1 billion people out there, they don't experience what you're experiencing like me. We don't feel even the person across is me. The problem happens there. The person across, or your friend, they are separate. And there is always this power struggle happening, which has stopped with you.
Oh, Lisa, no, Lisa still has the power struggle. Lisa still wants all the power. Trust me. Lisa, that's how Lisa's set up. Lisa's set up to obtain, to get fatter and fatter and fatter, to grow.
But there is something just snapped in Lisa and Bali. Something snapped.
No, it's nothing to do with Lisa.
It is nothing to do with Lisa.
No.
Then what has that got to do with what? Apparently, the person I'm speaking to from 2010 has been constantly maintaining the position of, non-duality and spreading it, though it is happening in the moment. So the bottom line I'm trying to come at is this. Is there a functional residual me still in you, which is, how you're sane and, you're doing your routine work, you're creating your retreats and stuff like that. There is something happening in you where there is a continuity, but the end of suffering has happened. A lot of teachers speak about a functional residual me and then a me which has disappeared. I don't know. I mean, I am lost. For example, Wayne Lickerman talks about that. He talks about some part of him which vanished after he met Ramesh Balsekar, but then the functional part of him still makes him give these speeches and maintain his routine life. Or sometimes they say enlightened people suddenly become mad also. Even you have spoken about that. Some of your friends landed up in the mental asylum where the entire me is gone. But you are in society, you are a person who's very much in control of what's happening. See, these questions are being asked just to find out.
But you won't find it there, Ilanga, like I keep telling you. You're trying to find security in a fake world.
No. The reason why I'm asking these questions is, they say one way of talking about enlightenment is dying before you die. That me dying before the physical death, that's enlightenment. Where you are totally free, you become the universe. That is what I think seekers aim at. Ultimately, it may be cosmic, eternal ecstasy they want.
No, the person wants to grow. The person wants to survive.
But there are so many other methods to do these things. Go to a club, go to a disco, drink, and there are so many other things. Why is that person or persons like me log on to spirituality to get this?
Because that's what happens.
Yeah. So the dying of the me before the physical death, can that be also an enlightenment, called as enlightenment, liberation? I was thinking the true liberation is the liberation from the self, the human I.
Ilanga, you're just trying to find comfort in intellect, which is okay, but that's got nothing to do with non-duality. You're trying to organize and compartmentalize all of non-duality. You go around all these different speakers, listening to all the different perspectives, and you put it into notes, and that's fine. That's just what the brain's doing. But that's in subject-object. That's not non-duality.
I understand that. I understand non-duality is in a no subject, no object, unitary, single universe. Not even universe. This is it. That's your teaching. This, what's happening now is it. But what I am trying to find out is how to bring that thisness experientially. Is there any way, like I can deepen my experiences in routine life?
It's got nothing to do with the person.
But the person occupies most of my time. The stillness and the silence is...
There isn't a you, your time. It doesn't occupy most of somebody's time. There isn't somebody. There's an appearance of someone rising in every instant for no one.
Yeah, I understand that.
This isn't going to help you, Lango.
So what will help me?
Well, in the realms of the person, there's lots of things that you can do to improve the pleasury input.
I don't want to improve my golden cage. I want to self-destruct.
No, you don't.
I don't.
No, the person doesn't want to self-destruct. The person wants to grow.
Then what is it that a seeker wants, a spiritual seeker, non-duality?
To grow.
To grow what? To become a billionaire?
To get more pleasure, yes.
So there is no difference between a spiritual seeker and a normal human being.
Yes.
Fine. Then what happens to certain people where this stops? Not Lisa. I'm telling, just generalizing, because when I keep talking about Lisa, I mean, it becomes like, you're talking in a public forum on a personal level, which is actually not the right thing to do. But then we don't have a choice. And those of us who have very rare chances to speak to.
But what was the question? What was the question?
The question was, if this can't help you, Ilango, then my question was, what will help Ilango?
Nothing will help Ilango, because Ilango doesn't exist. It doesn't exist. There is nobody there.
No, you're talking because you're trying to help us, right?
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I talk for the money and the fame and the pleasure.
Then give us an answer. Give us an answer. For the money and the fame and the pleasure. You have to give us an answer to kill ourselves. They say, I used to listen to a lot of Osho, and he used to say, like, the master ultimately kills the disciple.
No, this is all nonsense. This is all nonsense. This is all chemical reactions, and all of us are wanting a bit more drama and a bit more power. Oh, yes, the master kills the disciple, and I'm with the right master. Oof. It's all nonsense. There is just life. There is just this happening. And if there is a sense that this is happening to you, then that's what's happening. If there's a sense it's not happening to you, then that's what's happening. And that's it. I'm sorry, I can't offer you any more than that.
Agreed.
But we have to stop now. It's already 10 past.
Yeah.
It will go on forever. I keep waiting for you to run out, and you never do. You're like, poo, poo, a train. Tuk, tuk.
When I come into India, if at all.
I was going to come at Christmas, but I don't think so now.
No, is it?
No.
No for the moment.
No for the moment. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Ilango.
Thank you very much.
Bye.
Bye.
Okay, bye, guys.